What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster. And this really isn't surprising for a number of reasons, but it looks like a ton of the staff responsible for the great old CD Projekt Red games are abandoning ship and going elsewhere. This is something that gamers have been pointing out for a while now.
Look at that. I was right. Note the lack of surprise.
In the past year or two, we have watched as CD Projekt Red began publicly courting DEI and ESG garbage, and we have watched as notable members of the company have left the studio in droves. It is extraordinarily likely, given the timing, that these occurrences are linked. We've seen this a number of times in the recent past, with large studios, once renowned for their edginess, embracing corporate woke shit, and then all the good developers run for the hills. Take Naughty Dog as an example. The people who made it what it once was take off, leaving it as a husk of its former self, to be molded by the screeching harpies in the HR departments. There's little doubt in my mind that this is CDPR now.
What is it? What do you smell? Man flesh.
The funny thing is that gamers have been noticing that this has been happening with CDPR for a while now. Endymion in particular has put out several videos discussing his contacts in the industry who told him that a mass exodus was taking place at CD Projekt Red, most notably involving the lead writer and narrative director of The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, along with the guy who was the game director of The Witcher 3 and the assistant director of Cyberpunk. The CDPR corporate defenders insisted repeatedly that this wasn't a big deal, that the exodus wasn't happening, and that we need to trust CDPR with The Witcher 4. In their minds, this is what they look like as they valiantly defend their corporate liege lords.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
But in reality, this is what they look like to everyone else, vigorously denying the blatantly obvious truth. Everyone who is responsible for the old good games from CDPR are gone.
Look, I came here to chew bubblegum and pack boxes, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh my god, I swallowed it. Is that bad?
Alright me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to refer to it as these days. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. My handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. But alright, let's talk about this CD Projekt Red situation and how the people who made that studio what it once was, they have jumped ship. This is especially gratifying to be able to report since the woke corporate defenders out there have insisted repeatedly that this is simply not true. They've insisted that the reporting of Endymion in particular was incorrect, but it looks like he can now take a victory lap because the core of CDPR has left and they have announced that they have opened up a new studio. This X account posted this here saying it looks like the whole news of a lot of CDPR devs leaving CDPR is not just real, but it's practically exodus levels of leaving. Ship of Thesis in action. The director for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt has even opened his own studio now named Rebel Wolves. I love that name, by the way. It sounds badass. But the post continues saying many ex-CDPR staff joined him, including the lead writer / narrative director of Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. And then here's the bottom of the post. It says, "This again does not fill me with optimism for Witcher 4. The when has CDPR ever failed us in the writing and have faith, it's CDPR counter argument. I personally question how much of the writing team is CDPR as we actually know them. Either way, I am looking at Rebel Wolves with interest. I hope they get started on something soon." And in fact, it looks like they are getting something started. They have got a game called Dawnwalker getting ready to come out, as I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes here. But if you look at the images of those 4 people at the bottom of this post here, that guy on the left is Konrad Tomaskowicz. I'm probably butchering that last name, so bear with me, but he's the former director of The Witcher 3 and the assistant director for Cyberpunk 2077. And then the next guy over is Daniel Sadowski, who is the design director who worked on the Witcher games. He's now the design director at Rebel Wolves. And then there's Jacob Samalik, once again, probably butchering that name, but he was a writer for The Witcher 3 and the principal writer for Cyberpunk. And then there's Bert Gowell, who was an artist working on The Witcher 3. So yeah, these guys aren't exactly lightweights. These are big-time players who are now gone from CDPR. And then there's another studio called Blank Studio that has been formulated and is being run by the game director of Cyberpunk 2077. So basically, the entire leadership team of CDPR has left the company, which begs the question, who the hell is running things at the studio now? And this right here is one of the primary reasons that people are so concerned about what we saw with the Witcher 4 trailer. If the old team was still in charge, and if CD Projekt Red wasn't so obsessed with DEI and ESG nonsense as they are now these days, then we might not be so worried about what we saw in the trailer. But here's a small taste of what we have seen from this studio concerning their commitments to corporate woke shit.
My name is Piotr Nielubowicz. I'm a member of the board and CFO at CD Projekt. I'm also personally involved in a range of environmental, social and governance initiatives, ESG for short, and I'm responsible for CD Projekt Group's reporting in this matter.
Oh, goody.
And now, let's begin with our products. Although this is perhaps not the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about video games and ESG, we believe that our primary means of influencing the world at large is by developing games which can enrich gamers' perceptions. This is why we do not shy away from confronting socially important topics in the stories we tell. Our games depict social inequalities, the various paths people take through life, and the problems they face. We want to make sure that the characters populating the worlds we create represent a diverse set of mindsets, social groups, and backgrounds.
I'm so happy for you.
Well, now it looks as though the Rebel Wolf team is about to unveil a new game. On January 13th, there's a new trailer for their game called The Blood of Dawnwalker. Sounds like a vampire game, and it sounds cool as hell. I'm really excited to see what these guys are going to be able to do. But in any event, it's no wonder that these titans have left the company, they've left CDPR and struck out on their own. I can only imagine how creatively stifling it must have been to have these schmucks at this big corporate entity like CDPR has turned into now. I can only imagine how stifling it was to have those schmucks riding you all day, ensuring that you conform to their progressive values, and making sure that instead of making a game for gamers, you make it for the modern audience. That must be tiresome as hell. So, I'm still holding out faint hope that the new Witcher will be good, but there's not much hope. Not much hope at all. The game seems doomed. I mean, the studio has been absolutely gutted, much like Rocksteady was, and look at how bad Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League turned out to be. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of CDPR into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.